Okay, guys, and we're back on the show, and let's bring in Martinez. You there, man?
Yes, sir, I am. How you doing?
Let's talk about your last fight, a split decision win. Just talk about it, talk the fans through the fight.
The fight, quite honestly, it didn't go as I planned. Hope to have a bigger finish. Went in there with a certain game plan in my own head, and just when it really came to the moment, thinking about it, there's a lot of things that weigh on fighters' minds in different aspects. Having gone in on the last-minute fight, I think my first fight with Matt Riddle went very well, and I fought. I really swung, and people really enjoyed the fight. But the difference was I didn't have anything to lose. I was going in, nobody knew who I was. And this fight, I really felt that if I lost, I ran a high risk of being cut. It's usually 2 and out with the UFC, especially being a newcomer. And so it really weighed on my mind, and I think I landed up fighting a much more cautious fight than maybe I should have. And I think I could have won in a much more dominant fashion, but in the end, I still came away with a win, and thank goodness for that.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, man. You got the W. Did you have any injuries coming out of this fight?
No, I came out of this past fight perfect. Felt great afterwards, so.
Okay, man.
Before, I fought with a broken foot, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went in. I had fought 2 weeks prior on the Jackson's MMA series, and I got the call 7 days out. I was not training or anything because my foot was broken. I had 6 fractures in my foot, but from the UFC comes a call, and you can't say no, so.
Okay, so next up you got Darren Cruikshank from The Ultimate Fighter Live. You'll be fighting him in Las Vegas at UFC 151. Just talk about the matchup.
I think it's a good matchup. I've seen a few of his fights. He likes to throw flashy kicks. Comes from a Taekwondo background, his family, into the martial arts. And so I've seen it come across. He does a lot of spinning and jumping type elbows and flashy kicks, and it looks good. He also has some wrestling background, so I think it's a good matchup. I wrestled in college as well, and I like to stand and bang, and I think it'll be a good fight for the fans to watch.
Talk about fighting on a pay-per-view compared to the FX show. Is there any major difference?
I don't really think so. I mean, it's more exciting maybe for the fans and people that know you. I think they find more excitement. You really just gear your fight towards winning your fight. That's not really something that plays into your mentality, or at least for myself. I think maybe going in, and had it been my first fight, I didn't face the regular jitters that most fighters would going into the UFC, because I took that fight at the last minute, and I knew I was up against a wall, being out of shape and fighting up a weight class and having a broken foot and just so many things that it kind of helped distract me from the fact that I was going into the biggest platform for MMA in the world. But as far as being on the pay-per-view or on the FX part, it's definitely an honor to be on anyone and showcase your talent for the world. It's big stage, but it doesn't really affect how I approach my fight.
Do you believe in octagon jitters? You talked about you really didn't face them that much because of coming in out of shape and everything. A lot of guys don't perform well in their first fight, yet you did.
Yeah, I do believe in them, and like I said, just the nature of how the fight came to be for me, it really, I think, played into my favor more so than was detrimental, because I went up there with nothing to lose. That's how I viewed it. I knew I was out of shape, and I knew I was fighting a much bigger opponent that has all of his experience in the UFC. So I went up there and just went for broke, just threw, and whatever happened. I didn't care what if I got knocked out. I didn't care. Obviously didn't want to get knocked out, but I just left it all in the octagon.
Back to Cruikshank, he's known as being a funny man, a prankster. Tell me why it won't be funny for him come September 1st.
I'm all business when it comes to fighting. I ain't going in there to make anybody laugh or anything. I go to fight. That's my job. That's my life, and I take it very seriously. So if he wants to play games, that's up to him. But I don't believe fights anything to joke around about.
Who will be working with you to get you ready for this fight?
I'm working with Coach Mike Winklejohn and Coach Greg Jackson.
Who are some of the training partners that you're sparring with and helping you get ready for this one?
I try to train with everybody that's at the gym, whether they're heavier weight classes or lighter. I'm working with Little John Dotson and Diego Brandao, Derek Brunson, Isaac Belly Flag, just so many guys, Leonard Garcia, and just try to get as many looks as I can. Try to prepare for myself for everything rather than just a few traits that you might key onto, because a lot of times people will also try to change up what they are just to change that rhythm and make people think that they're going to fight one way and then they change it. So I try to just be ready for everything.
Well, you've fought at lightweight, featherweight, welterweight. What weight do you feel the most comfortable at?
I think I do best at featherweight, 145. I'm looking to probably drop by the end of the year back down to 145.
Okay, so this fight will be at lightweight?
This fight will be at lightweight.
Have you ever had a problem with cutting the weight? I assume if you can get down to featherweight, the weight cut's no problem for you?
It's not really a problem. It can be bothersome if a fight comes up last minute and stuff. I walk around kind of big, but I'll get it done.
Is that the worst part about being a fighter, dude? The weight cut?
The weight cut is definitely the worst part. Training is great. You get beat up and you feel kind of beat up sometimes and got to drag yourself out of bed. But that weight cut is always just the worst part. I've wrestled my entire life and been cutting weight for years and years and years, and it never gets any easier.
You mentioned Winklejohn and Jackson. I assume they'll both be in your corner. Who else will be in your corner?
My friend Ruben Rivera is my other corner man, along with Coach Jackson and Coach Winklejohn. He's one of the coaches over at 10th Planet Santa Fe here in New Mexico.
Just finally, talk about, there's been a lot of injuries. Guys are getting hurt in training. How can you prevent from getting hurt?
I really don't think that you can prevent being hurt. I really think a lot of times, like I said, I fought the fight with Riddle with a broken foot. It's really in your mind whether you want to succumb to the injury and take it. I mean, after you fight, you have more than ample time usually to heal up any type of injury. So my mentality is just go for broke and deal with it when you have the time.
Do you want to throw out any sponsors or promote your Twitter?
I'll just check me out. Anybody, follow me at Henry Martinez 83 on Twitter. But thanks for listening in. Thank you for your time, and just hope you guys enjoy the show.
Awesome stuff, Henry. Hopefully we'll run into you in Vegas before your fight and we can talk again.
Definitely.
Okay, cool, bro. Talk to you later.